Hello Tubesters, it's Gav and welcome to yet another video. They're rolling out like buses out of a garage at the moment. Today it's a progress report, or lack of, on my Württembergers, my Saxon commission and a couple of odds and sods that are on the desk at the moment. So let's go down, we'll take a look and I'll plead my case why everything's taking so long. So I'll see you down there in a minute. Right guys, thanks for joining me at the desk. Let me just try and save my camera before not only do I wreck it by falling over, but it crushes everything beneath it. That would really make my day. Right, as you can see we've got Württembergers in front of you at the moment. Let's just have a quick squiz at these. If I can pick one up without toppling everything over. These are, these are Württemberg Grenadiers. Well, these one I'm showing you is anyway. 28mm front rank miniatures. Now I've done this with the obviously it's got the Rupp, what they call it, the Ruppel helm. The Rupp or Raup being the woolen piece that you see there. On the Grenadiers it was slightly wider and larger than on the centre companies. Now let me get my pointy stick yet again. This one's got a bit gluey at the end, but never mind. The brass that you see there, alright, I've done non-metallic as I've done on this whole range. You can do that black with just the tiniest bit of brass reinforcing band right at the bottom where it touches the actual leather on the helmet itself. You know, just for effect, I've gone for the brass. I just, you know, you can't resist it, can you? You've got to do that bit of extra. So that's my Grenadier. I've got 4 of those. I really have to invest in one of these electric turntables one of these days. They came out quite nice. I was quite happy. They've got a brass, as you can see, they've got a brass plate there. It sits back and then it's raised at the front. That's come up quite well. Again, as you can see, non-metallic on the musket. The only thing that I might do before I varnish these is just maybe reinforce the banding with a darker grey. I thought about that as I was looking at it earlier on. So that's my four Grenadiers. You know, the rest of the guys you've seen, I think, before. This is really just an update or a lack of progress update. This is obviously an officer, again, larger woolen crest there. Again, non-metallic on the sword. I've not gone for a fantasy style. I'm still obviously bobbling around trying to find my own style for these really, but the officers' sashes would be silver and they'd have gold and red fleck through them with the knot itself, and that, hang on, I'm trying to find where my stick is. There we go. That piece there would just be normally, like I've done it, just solid silver with no flecks in it, should you ever need to know. Same with the sword knot. The sword knot itself doesn't actually follow the button colours. Now it does on this one because the button colours are silver, or pewter for the other ranks, but for the officers it would be silver even if you had brass buttons, so I'm led to believe. And don't forget, you've got a bit of a black, like feathery bit at the bottom there that actually, it doesn't show up. So they could have actually moulded this better really, because these were actually feathers, I believe, not the top piece but the bottom piece, and they could have probably got that sticking out more and mould them as feathers, but you know, I've just gone with painting it black. That's missing at the moment. That'll be a national cockade, which will be the yellow, red and black. I'm going to do it all in one go before I actually varnish them, because I've got 4 left to do, including 1 officer. So they're the ones I've painted. You've seen all the musketeers. These are the, I'm obviously going to go through the lot because what can I show you apart from primered. I've got a thing, I always put a base layer on the face first. It's just how I work. I've got 1 base layer, which you can see under the light, but 1 base layer. That's not helping, is it? Of sky grey on his beginning on his trousers there. I've got a drummer and two NCO standard bearers. Again, I'll just quickly show you a standard bearer, or a cut. Well, you call them in the UK, you call them a colour bearer, because we don't call them flags, we call them colours. So the colour bearer is an NCO, and like the NCO previously painted, he's got his black stuff that goes down. Now, I did brass tips at the base and the top on the NCO that I've got amongst the centre companies. Probably because they were pewter buttons, I wouldn't be surprised if they wouldn't have invested in pewter or silver, but I painted in brass, so I'll paint these brass as well. But that just gives you an idea. I thought they might be officers, but they're not. They're NCOs. And I've got a drummer to do as well, which, you know, again, hang on, let's pick this guy out the collection. There you go, there's your drummer. So I've got another one of him to do. Again, I've given them all light blue sabre sashes. The only ones at this time period that didn't, as far as I'm concerned, before I get shot down by anybody else, is the Grenadiers. I'll quickly show again because I didn't show it off. Where are we? Here we are. And they've got white, so white sabre knots for those. Right, let's see if we can track camera along. So I've got my mini tripod on, and I'm literally balancing on the table edge again as usual. You've seen these guys before. That's the light infantry in front. Let me just see. I just put a PVA wash a couple of hours ago over the Prince Antons, so they've got to just have a flick off with a brush, and I'll begin painting the bases of those tonight, and then I can flock them all in one go, because flocking gets a bit messy, and I do prefer to have a couple of units on the go rather than break everything out, cause all that mess just for one unit. And then I've got this guy who I showed completely not much of a difference from Napoleonics, is it? This is Knight Models 28mm Red Hood, a resin figure, and that's part of their Batman miniature game range. I painted the Flash, if you recall, a few months ago, and I've had him sitting around in a box waiting, and obviously just to I need some books, so him and the Flash are being painted to put on eBay and get sold on, hopefully, so I can get some probably helicopter books, as you do. He's going to be a very nice figure. You can paint him in grey leather jacket, and I think he also had a brown one, but this guy's going for the grey leather jacket when I do it, and we'll follow his progress as we go. As you may have recalled from many videos ago when I did a bit of a review on him, this guy here was snapped off, and it was a bit thin for me. I did think of pinning it, but it was just a bit thin, so I've just gone for a basic super glue. But there's no mess on the glue, and I'm actually quite pleased with it. Actually, there's no mess squidging out the bottoms or anything. So yeah, that's Mr. Red Hood. And as I've told you guys before, growing up I was all into the Warlord comic and the Victor comic, the Battle comic. I was never into Marvel or DC or anything. I have not got a Scooby half of these guys. I have to keep going on Wikipedia and having a look. But as I say, I love painting other things. I love my history, but I can just something like this. It's just completely different, and I get to enjoy the painting, and then hopefully sell it on, make a bit of profit, and hopefully somebody has the enjoyment of gaming or displaying or whatever you want to do with him. So that's Mr. Red Hood, who will be getting painted soon. And then just one other piece, part of the Red Hood base. I've done this little piece. It's supposed to be a bit of concrete wall. Somebody's gone and put what they call it, printed on the Joker's face with "ha ha" on, which he's known to have on a lot of. They put on a lot of these, cartoons and things. Obviously, rough cast at the back where it's all falling apart. A couple of safety paper clips cut off, and I know it's not exactly like Rio Bar, but it's a gaming piece. So yeah, so as far as Redwood goes, that's as far as it's got so far, but worth showing. So that's yet another workbench update. I don't think I've got anything else on the go at the moment. Obviously the one in 35, I've just been texted by the wife to say my plaster of Paris has arrived at her office. I did buy some cheap polyfiller to use on the base of that, and I've never plastered Paris anything before, and when I was in there's a UK shop called The Range, which just sells anything really. They happen to have some of these plaster of Paris bandages, and I thought, what the heck, I'm going to have a go at plaster of Paris. And of course they didn't sell the plaster of Paris, did they? So, but anyway, that's here, got here in 2 days, so well done. I'll give them a shout out, the company on eBay, when I remember who it is. So yeah, the 1 in 35 base, I'm going to start the diorama hopefully this weekend, just for a few hours, and crack on with the rest of the commissions. I keep saying this, it is coming to an end now. I've got, as I say, the 4 figures of the Württembergers to do, and one which I'll quickly show you here. I forgot to show this guy here, 95th Rifles. If you remember rightly, I did 95th Rifles ages ago. For part of this, I'm going to swamp eBay with about 5 or 6 Napoleonic units for sale. And for some usual Gav reason, I'd put 11 figures rather than 12, so he's number 12. But I will do him as a completely separate figure. There's, I don't want to be doing 4 Württembergers and trying to do bits of green at the same time. So he's just there, ready to go when I've got the time to do him. So I hope you're being more productive than me, that your workbench is looking compact with finished product rather than bits and pieces of non-finished product. I hope you're enjoying your hobbies, whether that's painting, sticking bits of kits together, or whatever else floats your boat. So you have a good day, and I will catch you again on another video. Cheers.